Hey, shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to say Kahalal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Also would like to say peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect, the hopeful elect, the Akim that's pushing this word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. For the Aquat, the sisters who watch and believe, shalom to you as well. Shalom to the new fruit, the new believers, the new viewers coming into this thing. Just back with another lesson. And we are 6 days into 2026 and things is popping off. Like we always say, prophecy is literally jumping off the page. All right. Because we know that the end is near for Babylon the Great, which we know prophetically is talking about America in the Bible. All right. And one of the latest events that happened was the U.S. capture of this guy, the president of Venezuela, Maduro. All right. Now, there's a lot of different opinions as to, you know, what the motive is behind the so-called capture of this guy, this president Maduro, and then that cruel Lord spoken of in Isaiah the 19th chapter. Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, he even made a declaration that what Colombia is next. All right, because basically he's saying they want to basically stop all of the drug trafficking and whatnot, which, you know, if you just go into the history, we know that the CIA, you know, they set up a lot of the Contras in Nicaragua and different places in, you know, South and Central America to basically catapult that whole drug market and drug trade as we know it today. All right. So they pull wool over the eyes. There's nothing but smoke screens. But ultimately, the Lord is allowing all of these things to happen to show that the end is near. OK. And ultimately, you know, it's going to culminate into war because Venezuela, you know, they're supposed to have allies in Russia and China, which Russia and China, they haven't did anything, you know, as far as a direct retaliation for the U.S. capture of the Venezuelan president Maduro. But who knows, who knows what may happen in the future. That's going to ultimately lead into America going into that third world war spoken of in Revelation. All right. But ultimately, we're just in a time of war, man, you know, and Donald J. Trump, you know, one thing I will say, man, he is, since he got in office, it's been action packed, man. So we believe through the spirit that this cruel Lord, man, he's going to lead America into that third world war, which is ultimately going to bring the epic destruction of Babylon the Great America. All right. And then the salvation and deliverance of the elect of the nation of Israel. But before I speak on too much, I'll just get a scripture. I'm going to start off here in but Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. All right. So all the prophets that have been on the scene in former times, man, they always prophesied against great countries and against great kingdoms. And isn't America a great country? Isn't it a great kingdom? All right. Especially the way DJ Trump, you know, is flexing. He said something to the Cubans as well. But I know to Colombia, he was basically saying, you're next. He's basically saying the American military, they have a capacity just to eliminate any potential threat, anybody that's not going to bend the knee to America, so to speak. All right. So that shows that there's a spirit of war rising up, man. All right. And America's a great kingdom. That's the point I was making, man. All right. Babylon the Great. Babel, it means, or Babal means confusion. America's a melting pot of all of these different nations, man. And the reason why all of these different nations flock to America is because they want the so-called American dream. They want opportunities. They want different ways to make money that they can't make, in a second or a third world country, rather. All right. So America's a great kingdom, but it says, I'll read it again. Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets have always been on the scene prophesying against great countries and against great kingdoms of war. And that's the time that we're in right now. We're in a time of war. Pretty much the move that they made in Venezuela, capturing their president. And now we already know that they're going to basically probably prop up a leader that they can control. And then they're going to have an occupation in Venezuela to take the oil, the crude oil reserves and other different natural resources, because I've heard that there's an abundance of gold in Venezuela. All right. So that's an act of war. All right. And it says, and of evil, and evil, that word just means bad times. And it says, and of pestilence. And the word, when you go into pestilence, is talking about all of these different diseases. Because I've heard also, too, that there's supposed to be some type of super virus that's even way more devastating than the C-19. All right. So that's just the time frame that we're in, man. All right. And this is all according to prophecy. That's why the men of the Lord were able to speak so clearly to these things. All right. Because the scriptures, it says it first. All right. And now we're in a time where the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, is allowing it all to manifest according to his will. And that's a beautiful time, man. What a time to be alive. Matter of fact, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Salakia, just in case I don't want to get no call. But I'll hit another script. Go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. Find a good place to start. Yeah, I'll start at verse 6. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's an act of war. The U.S. capturing the president of Venezuela. And then, of course, we know that the agenda ultimately is to take control over the crude oil reserves over there. All right. And then, of course, there's other wars and things of that nature going on all throughout the world. There's still a war going on in Ukraine. All right. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, because all of these rumors of wars is going to elevate, is going to escalate into an actual conflict. It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. So all of these different wars and rumors of wars, it has to come to pass ultimately in order for the kingdom of heaven to come on the earth. All right. Through much tribulation, we enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right. But it says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. And that's what's happening right now. Nation rising up against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right. And we're coming into a time where there's going to be famines because what? The economy is already collapsing. We're in a time of hyperinflation, in a time of massive job losses for certain people, certain industries getting cut out by AI. So that's going to lead to famine. And then, of course, pestilences, like I just read in Jeremiah 28:8, all of the different diseases. All right. It says in earthquakes in diverse places. So all of these so-called natural disasters, which ultimately is the spirit of the Lord, whether it's an earthquake, a tornado, a hurricane, a tsunami that causes devastation. All right. Because we know Esau, he has the technology to make these things happen, weather modification. But it's all ultimately the spirit of the Lord that he's putting on these leaders to do these things, man, for his will. It says all these are the beginning of sorrow. So all of these different things that I just read, these are just the beginning of sorrows, because we know one of the main chess pieces in prophecy is Revelation 13 and 16. Once that charagma is made mandatory, okay, that's going to be the main domino piece that kind of sets the whole wave of prophecy, to put the nail in the coffin for Babylon the Great, to where the thermonuclear destruction is going to take place. All right. When all of these different nations are going to fire missiles on Babylon the Great. But I wanted to jump down. I'll jump to 14. Matthew 24 and 14. It says, "In this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." And that's what's happening right now. The gospel is the good news concerning the kingdom of heaven that's going to be established upon the earth, where the Israelites, starting with the 144,000, are going to be in rulership under Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. It's going to be a righteous government established upon the earth once this wicked demonic kingdom is brought down. All right. And the fact that this word has gone throughout the four corners of the earth, that's a sign that we're at the end. Like some people say, we're in esoteric times. That basically just means end times. All right. But so we know that we're closer to the end, man, just by the word, the fact that the word has been spread throughout the four corners of the earth. And then we're seeing all of these prophecies coming to pass, mainly, like I read earlier, wars and rumors of wars, man. And it's only going to elevate. All right. Because we know that America is being heavily isolated. All right. Because we know that they're trying to protect those poquitos sombreros. OK, I'll just say it that way, because, they try to flag the videos and do this, that, and the third for brothers that speak the truth. But everything's going according to prophecy. All right. So the men of the Lord that have been faithfully on the corners preaching, putting up these shows and these videos on YouTube's, man, we understand that it appears foolish to the untrained eye, to the unwise eye. But we understand, like it says in the Corinthians, that the foolishness of preaching, this is ultimately what pleases the Most High. All right. And at the end of the day, we got the truth, man. So the hell with what you people think, man. All right. We understand what's happening. It's just a matter of time before the Most High allows it to play out in its fullness. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord." And that's what the prophets are doing. We're speaking the words of prophecy. The word prophecy or prophesy means to speak or to say before. All right. So we're speaking the will of the Lord into existence before it actually plays out. All right. So we're showing a high form of spiritual power right now in the spoken word. All right. And we're speaking mainly in the words, or we're speaking mainly in the ears of our people. Who are our people? The Israelites, the Most High's chosen people. But we understand that it only begins with the elect on this side, because 2/3 of Israel, of the Israelites, they're going to be destroyed because they're desperately wicked. All right. There's no turning back for 2/3 of our own people. All right. Verse 2, it says, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true," meaning the prophecies. Like it says in Isaiah 55, I believe in 11, the word of the Most High does not return void. It's going to accomplish the thing, or it's going to accomplish the thing that the Most High seeks it to accomplish. I'm loosely paraphrasing that scripture. All right. So all the prophecies are faithful and true, meaning the certain prophecies that came to pass already, that were written aforetime, and then there's certain prophecies that are going to come to pass in the future. All right. It says, "Fear not the imaginations against them. Fear not the imaginations against thee, Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. And when you go into that word incredulity, it means unbelief. All right. So to hell with someone who doesn't believe our report. All right. That doesn't mean that it's not going to come to pass. That's not going to change the outcome as far as prophecy is concerned, just because you got some scoffing scumbag who doesn't believe. So what? Like it says in Romans, the 3rd chapter, so what if some shall not believe? Shall that make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. Hell no. All right. So we understand that it looks foolish when we go out on the corners week in and week out preaching, prophesying, because just like even during the time of Noah was, prophesying over 120 something odd years, and it hadn't rained at that time, and people didn't believe him until that rain started falling, man. All right. So when the Lord just allows judgment to unleash on this place, people are going to consider the words of the prophets at that time. All right. So to hell with somebody who say they don't believe. All right. It says, verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So everybody that's found without faith, if you're not an Israelite, first and foremost, and part of the elect, you're gonna die, man. That's just the point of it, man. All right. There be many created, but only few shall be saved. Like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter. All right. Most of the people that are upon the earth at this appointed time, they were born to receive their judgment at this appointed time. All right. Verse 5, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And we're in that time right now. Just like the Lord plagued ancient Egypt, we understand that America, Babylon the Great, is spiritual Sodom and Egypt, like it says in Revelation 11 and 8, I believe. All right. So plagues are about to be hit upon modern day Egypt. All right. And some of the plagues are the sword, which a sword is just an instrument to kill. Mainly the main sword is the gun. OK. And then that can even go into the military weaponry, missiles, so on and so forth, tanks, fighter jets, weapons of war. And it says famine. All right. And the scripture says in I believe what that scripture is in. I can't think. I think it's in Haggai. It's better to die of the sword than to die by the famine, because that's a slow process of death. To have to starve to death, man. Death and destruction. So that's the time that we're in, man. All right. So just seeing things like U.S. just capturing presidents of these foreign countries and, basically taking control of their resources. That's just the beginning to an end. All right. So more is going to ramp up as far as war is concerned, man. All right. The big bully on the block, man, everybody's going to gang up on him. All right. And then what they're going to do to the big bully, meaning America, man, they're going to shoot their thermonuclear missiles on this place. All right. So that's just the time that we're in. So for the true believers of the nation of Israel, brothers and sisters, just hold fast to the faithful word until Yahweh Shah comes to deliver us out of this hellhole, man. But hey, what a time to be alive, because, man, it's just started 2026. And it seems like, man, things is already moving fast. Just so much is just happening all at one time, man. We know 2025, man, it was just so much happened in that year. It went by so fast. So just enjoy the ride, enjoy the wave. Just stay locked into the word, meditate on the prophecies, pray for fewer days. So with all being said, Lord willing and certified, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.